good evening, or maybe it's morning where you are. I'm your storyteller, and tonight my mission is simple: to guide you into another world, where your worries fade and sleep comes softly, without you even noticing. Before we begin this journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from, and what time it is for you. I'd love to know. Now find a comfortable position, close your eyes if you'd like, and let me tell you a story. It was the summer of 2022, and I, Ellie Harper, was 22, fresh out of college with a degree I wasn't sure I'd use. My friends Marcus Reed, 23, and Sarah Nguyen, 21, were itching for one last adventure before life pulled us apart. Marcus, always the planner, suggested a 3-day hike in the Smoky Mountains near the Tennessee-North Carolina border. "It's quiet, remote, perfect for clearing our heads," he said, his eyes bright with the kind of enthusiasm that made you say yes without thinking. Sarah, with her infectious laugh, was in before I could blink. Me? I just wanted to feel alive again, to shake off the weight of exams and uncertainty. So we packed our gear, loaded Marcus's beat-up Jeep, and headed into the wilderness chasing freedom. The trail was rugged, winding through dense pines that swallowed the sunlight. By noon on the first day, we hadn't seen a soul, which felt like a gift. We stopped at a rocky overlook, the kind that makes you feel small against the endless green sea below. That's when we saw him. He emerged from a side trail, moving with a slow, deliberate grace that didn't match the uneven terrain. He was older, maybe late 50s, with a weathered face framed by a gray beard. His green flannel shirt hung loose, paired with dark pants and scuffed boots. No backpack, no gear, just a gnarled wooden staff in one hand and a dented metal canteen clipped to his belt. His eyes, sharp and unblinking, flicked over us as he passed, offering a curt nod. No words, just a low, haunting hum, a melody that seemed to crawl under my skin, steady and mournful, like a lullaby from a forgotten time. "Who hums in the middle of nowhere?" Sarah whispered, her voice tight. Marcus shrugged, but his jaw was set, uneasy. We watched the man vanish into the trees, the hum fading with him. 6 miles into the trail, with no roads or campsites nearby, his presence felt wrong. "Maybe he's a local, knows the area," I said, trying to convince myself more than them. But the map showed nothing. No cabins, no shelters, just endless forest. We pushed on, the encounter lingering like a shadow. By evening, we reached our campsite, a small clearing hemmed in by towering pines. The air was thick with the scent of sap and earth. We set up our tent, boiled water for instant noodles, and built a fire that crackled against the growing dark. None of us mentioned the man, but I caught Sarah glancing at the trees, her usual chatter subdued. Marcus kept poking the fire, his movements sharp. I felt it too, a prickle at the back of my neck, like we weren't alone. That night I barely slept, the forest's silence louder than any city noise. Every rustle made my heart lurch, but nothing came. Just the wind, I told myself. The next morning we packed up and trekked to a ranger outpost, a weathered shack by a glassy lake. The door hung open, creaking in the breeze. No one was inside, just dusty maps and a bulletin board cluttered with faded notices. Sarah filled our water bottles at a pump outside while Marcus studied the maps. I scanned the board, my eyes catching on a flyer at the bottom. A grainy black and white photo stared back. A man, late 50s, gray beard, sharp eyes. The same man. His name was Elias Morrow, missing since October 2021, last seen near Blackthorn Ridge. My stomach twisted. "Guys," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Marcus and Sarah crowded in, their faces paling as they read. "It's him," Sarah said, her voice cracking. "No way, we all imagined that." Marcus shook his head. "Could be someone else. People look alike." But his words lacked conviction. We stood there, the silence heavy, until Sarah broke it. "What if he's still out there?" Her eyes darted to the door as if expecting him to walk through. I wanted to laugh it off, but the flyer's words burned in my mind. Missing. Presumed dead. We left the outpost, our steps quicker, the forest no longer a sanctuary. That night we camped in a cramped hollow, the trees so dense they seemed to lean in, watching. The ground was damp, the air cold, and we skipped the fire, too uneasy to draw attention. I lay in my sleeping bag, the tent's thin walls feeling like paper against the vast dark. Sleep wouldn't come. Then around 2 a.m. it started, a faint, steady hum, the same mournful tune from the ridge. It drifted from outside the tent, circling slowly, deliberate like a predator sizing us up. My breath caught, my body frozen. Sarah's hand gripped mine, her nails digging in. Marcus, usually the brave one, didn't move, his breathing shallow. The hum grew closer, pausing just behind the tent, so close I swore I felt the air shift. Then silence. Not a twig snapped, not a leaf rustled, just a void that pressed against my chest. No one spoke. We lay there, hearts pounding, waiting for dawn. When light finally crept through the canvas, we bolted upright. "Did you hear it?" I asked, my voice hoarse. Sarah nodded, tears in her eyes. "I thought it was a dream," Marcus said, but his hands shook as he unzipped the tent. We checked outside. Nothing. No footprints, no signs. Just the forest, mocking us with its stillness. We packed in record time, barely speaking, and hit the trail, moving faster than we ever had. The path sloped downward, the trees thinning, but the relief I expected never came. Late morning, we passed a rusted trail marker, 5 miles to go. Then we heard it, a voice, calm and clear, cutting through the quiet. "Ellie," it said, soft as a whisper. Then Marcus. Then Sarah. One by one, our names spoken in the same cadence as that cursed hum. It was his voice, Elias Morrow, or whatever he was. We froze, my legs trembling. The voice came from ahead, just beyond a bend in the trail. Sarah grabbed my arm, her eyes wild. "We need to go," she hissed. We moved, not running but close, our packs bouncing, sweat stinging my eyes. The trail stretched on, the final miles feeling like years. Every snap of a branch made my heart leap, every shadow a threat. When we finally saw the gravel parking lot, our Jeep waiting like a lifeline, I nearly sobbed. We threw our packs in, Marcus fumbling with the keys. As we peeled out, tires spitting gravel, I glanced back. At the trail's edge, half hidden by pines, a figure stood, tall, still, too far to see clearly. I blinked and it was gone, swallowed by the forest. We didn't talk much on the drive home, the hum still echoing in my head. Life moved on, but it wasn't the same. A month later, Marcus called me, his voice low. "Sarah's not okay," he said. She'd stopped going out, stopped answering texts. He visited her, found her gaunt, eyes hollow. "She hears it at night," he said. "Her name, called from outside her apartment. She never opened the door, but the voice kept coming night after night." I wanted to say it was stress, imagination, anything, but I couldn't. because sometimes when I'm alone I hear it too. A faint hum just beyond the walls waiting. In the fall of 2023, Lucas Bennett, was 27, stuck in a dead-end job and a life that felt like quicksand. I needed an escape, something to jolt me awake. Camping had always been my refuge, so when I stumbled across an old guidebook in a dusty bookstore near my apartment, I saw it as a sign. The book was a relic, its pages yellowed, detailing forgotten trails across the country. Tucked inside was a crumpled permit for Raven Hollow State Forest, dated 2008, stamped access granted in faded red ink. The name sparked something in me, curiosity, maybe desperation. Online searches turned up little, a grainy map from 2010, a few outdated trail reviews, nothing recent. It was perfect. Remote, untouched mine. The drive took 7 hours, the last stretch a maze of dirt roads flanked by endless trees. A weathered sign marked the entrance. Raven Hollow State Forest. No ranger station, no welcome center, just silence. I parked at a trailhead, shouldered my pack, and followed GPS coordinates to a clearing marked by a rusted metal post, its number matching the permit. The spot was flat, open enough for a tent, but eerily still. No birds, no insects, just the heavy quiet of a place that didn't want company. I set up camp, boiled water for coffee, and sat as dusk crept in, the forest's shadows stretching like fingers. It was peaceful, I told myself, ignoring the chill in my gut. That night I woke at 3:17 a.m., heart pounding, though I didn't know why. The air felt thick, wrong. Then I heard it, slow, deliberate steps circling my tent, crunching leaves with a rhythm that wasn't animal. I held my breath, clutching my knife, its blade cold against my palm. The steps paused, then faded, leaving a silence that was worse. I didn't sleep again, my mind racing. Was it a person? A bear? Something else? Dawn broke gray and heavy, and I stayed in the tent, replaying the sounds, doubting myself. When I finally stepped outside, the clearing looked untouched, but small things were off. My backpack's top flap was unbuckled. I always buckled it. A granola bar I'd left inside the tent was now on the ground, unopened, untouched by critters. My flashlight, always in the tent's side pocket, was gone. I tore through my gear, checked under the tent, inside my boots, nothing. My stomach churned. Someone had been here, rifling through my stuff, leaving it almost as it was. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe I'd been careless, but I knew better. The footsteps weren't my imagination. I should have left, but the long drive and my own stubbornness kept me there. I spent the day close to camp, skipping the hike I'd planned, my eyes scanning the trees. Every gust of wind felt like a warning. Before dark, I double-checked every zipper, stashed my phone, spare battery, and a spare flashlight in my sleeping bag. I wasn't taking chances. Midnight came, and with it a single sharp tap on the tent's wall, like a finger testing the canvas. I froze, my pulse hammering. No footsteps, no voices, just that tap. Then silence so deep it felt alive. I lay there, knife in hand, until exhaustion pulled me under. Morning light revealed the impossible. My missing flashlight now sitting at the tent's entrance, neatly placed on my boots. I stared, my skin crawling. I hadn't touched it. No one could have slipped it inside without me hearing. Panic clawed at me, and I packed in a frenzy, stuffing gear into my pack, not bothering to fold the tent. The forest watched, its silence mocking. On the trail back, I kept glancing over my shoulder, expecting to see someone or something following. When I reached my car, relief turned to dread. The permit locked in the glove box was now on the driver's seat, unfolded, its red stamp glaring like a brand. I drove home, the road blurring through tears I didn't understand. A week later, I dug into Raven Hollow's history, desperation replacing curiosity. A scanned document from a state archive chilled me. The forest closed in 2009 after unexplained incidents and staffing shortages. A forum post from 2011 was worse, claiming too many hikers vanished. Investigations halted after 2008, the permit's year. One user wrote, "Something's in that hollow. It doesn't let everyone leave." I don't camp anymore. The woods I loved feel tainted, their silence a lie. Sometimes late at night I hear it, a faint tap like a finger on glass coming from my apartment door. I don't open it, I can't. Because deep down, I know who's waiting. In the spring of 2021, Mia Thompson, was 25, living alone in a cramped studio apartment in Chicago. I'd moved there after college, chasing a graphic design job that barely paid the bills. My uncle David lived in the same building, a towering brick relic in a quiet neighborhood. He'd helped me snag the place at a steal, and I was grateful, even if his constant check-ins felt like hovering. I was trying to find my footing to carve out a life that felt mine. But some nights, staring at the city lights through my window, I felt like I was being watched. It started with a Facebook friend request from a guy named Caleb Walsh. His profile picture showed a clean-cut guy, maybe 27, with a disarming smile. He was friends with Uncle David, so I figured he was a neighbor, someone I'd passed in the hall without noticing. His profile was normal, gym selfies, dog photos, nothing red flags. I accepted, thinking little of it. A few days later, he messaged me, "Hey, I'm in your building. Your uncle's a cool guy, seen you around a few times." His tone was casual, friendly, but something about it made my skin prickle. I couldn't place him, couldn't recall his face in the elevator or lobby. "Still," I replied, keeping it short, polite. "Nice to meet you." "Yeah, David's great." Caleb kept messaging, dropping details about my uncle, like how they'd chat in the laundry room. He mentioned seeing me leave for work, describing my green scarf with a smiley emoji. My stomach twisted. I hadn't worn that scarf in weeks. Was he watching me? I brushed it off, telling myself I was paranoid. Uncle David was always meddling, asking why I wasn't dating. I started to wonder if he'd put Caleb up to this, playing matchmaker without asking. It wouldn't be the first time. I kept my responses curt, hoping Caleb would take the hint. Then came the day I helped Uncle David with his Facebook. He was hopeless with tech, always locking himself out. I logged in and a chat window popped up, a single message from Caleb, no context, like the rest of the conversation had been scrubbed. "Need your help with her, man." Haha, it read. My blood ran cold. Her. Me. The emoji felt like a mask, hiding something darker. I glanced at David, who was fussing with his phone, oblivious. "Everything okay?" he asked. I nodded, but my mind screamed, he's in on this. I stopped answering Caleb's messages after that, my trust in both of them fraying. Weeks passed and Caleb's messages tapered off. I thought it was over, that he'd moved on. Then one evening I opened my apartment door to grab a delivery and a small box of chocolates tumbled to the floor, tied to the doorknob with a red ribbon. My heart sank. I lived alone, 5 feet 7 inches, no match for whoever was bold enough to come to my door. I set the chocolates on the counter, unopened, my hands shaking. 3 days later, it happened again. A tiny potted succulent, a note taped to it. For a beautiful girl who lights up the hall. The words, meant to flatter, felt like a threat. Beautiful girl. Someone was watching me, close enough to know my every move. I started checking the hallway before leaving, my key gripped like a weapon. Caleb messaged again hours after the plant appeared. Hope you're doing okay. The timing was too perfect, too sinister. Fear coiled in my chest, but confronting him terrified me. He was 6 feet 2 inches, broad-shouldered, the kind of guy who could overpower me without trying. I pictured him outside my door waiting, that smile from his profile hiding something cold. I stopped sleeping, every creak in the building a footstep, every shadow a threat. Then came the notes. I found them in my mailbox, a stack of folded papers, each with a date and a 4-line poem. They spoke of love, of longing, each one more intimate than the last. Your laugh haunts my dreams, one read. Another, I see you even in the dark. The dates spanned a month, one for every day. I realized the chocolates had arrived on a date matching one of the notes. He'd been doing this for weeks, slipping into my life unnoticed. My apartment, my sanctuary, felt like a cage. I couldn't take it anymore. I messaged Caleb, my fingers trembling. Stop leaving things at my door, I know it's you. He replied instantly, all innocence. What? Why would you think that? I'd never do that. I laid out the evidence, the gifts, the notes, the timing. He denied it, his words sharp, almost angry. You're freaking out over nothing, he said. But after that message, it stopped. No more gifts, no more poems, no more messages. The silence was worse, like he was biding his time. 3 years later, I'm still in that building. Caleb's still here too, passing me in the hall with a quick, hey, his eyes never meeting mine. Uncle David moved away and I'm glad. I feel safe now, mostly. But some nights, when the city hums outside, I hear it, a faint tap at my door, soft as a heartbeat. I don't open it. I never will. Because I know deep down he's still watching.